Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the 1,693rd meeting of the Board of Trustees. Roll call.
Trustee Wabi.
Here.
Trustee Kistner.
Present.
Trustee Evans.
Yes.
I don't believe we have Trustee Watson. Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Nicholasison.
Yes.
All right, we do have a quorum.
Approval of the Journal of the Preceding Minutes for December 2nd, 2024, the 1,692nd meeting.
So move.
Second.
There are no comments by the chair. Report of the board committees. Trustee Kistner with the Program Management Committee.
Okay, thank you. The Program Management Committee met on December 31st, 2024 at 7:30 a.m. The meeting was attended by Trustee Wabi with Trustees Watson, Evans, and Kistner online. I called roll and had no further comments. The minutes of the December 3rd, 2024 Program Management meeting were approved. The agenda items to be introduced at the January 9th, 2025 Board of Trustee meeting were presented and discussed, including a detailed discussion regarding the following items. Ordinance number 16528. Staff provided details of a CSO volume reduction green infrastructure grant being awarded to Fresh Coast Capital LLC for the construction of 4 bioretention basins on behalf of Cardinal Glennon to reduce combined sewer overflows to the Mississippi River per the CSO long-term control plan and consent decree. Ordinance numbers 16529 and 16530. Staff reviewed the details and bid information for 2 construction projects bid this past month. The ordinances proposed will authorize construction contracts and appropriate the necessary funds for the projects. Staff presented details of several general services agreement contract renewals for engineering support services. Ordinance number 15531 and Ordinance numbers 16531 and 16532 will provide funding for and amended contracts for construction management and design services respectively. Ordinance numbers 16533 through 16535 will provide funding for and amend 3 geotechnical services contracts, and ordinance numbers 16536 through 16540 will provide funding for and amend 5 survey services contracts. All these contracts support internal design efforts for delivery of consent decree and asset management projects. The next committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for February 4th, 2025. The meeting was adjourned at 7:44 a.m. This concludes the Program Management Board Comments Report.
Thank you, Trustee Kistner. Trustee Evans with the Finance Committee report.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on December 31st, 2024 at 7:46 a.m. The meeting was attended by Trustee Wabi with Trustees Evans, Watson, and Kistner online. I called roll and had no further comments. The minutes of the December 3rd, 2024 Finance Committee meeting were approved. The following agenda item to be introduced tonight was presented and discussed by district staff. Ordinance number 16541, City of Kirkwood Intergovernmental Water Data Agreement. This ordinance authorizes MSD to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Kirkwood to provide customer and water data for the purpose of billing sewer service charges for applicable properties located in the City of Kirkwood. Other items discussed during the committee meeting include the following. Secretary Treasurer Tim Snow reviewed the district's operating fund portfolio as of December 24, 2024. Tim indicated the portfolio is in compliance with the district's investment policy. The next committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, February 4, 2025. The meeting was adjourned at 7:53 a.m. This concludes the Finance Committee Board Comments Report.
Thank you, Trustee Evans. Report of Executive Director.
I have no report this month, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We have 2 comments from the public. First of all, I'd like to remind everyone about the rules for the public comment period. We ask that the members of the public who wish to make comments, please keep their remarks to 5 minutes. Also, if a group has come to speak on the same topic, we ask that they select a spokesman for the group. If a member of the public has questions for MSD, we ask that the questions are presented in writing so that MSD can research and respond properly. I would like to thank the public for their cooperation. Is there a Kelso Couch?
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
My name is Kelso Couch. I stay at 1250 Mead in Bell Fountain area. And I'm here to talk about basement flooding and stuff. You know, I've been at this address for almost 20-some years. And out of 20-some years, I haven't had no sleep in 20-some years. You know, because the basement, every time, every year, it floods in my basement. I have to go to work, come home, you know, and get up flood water. I call MSD, you know, they give me, you know, a little $3,000. You know, I don't want that. You know, I want the problem fixed. You know, the basement constantly study the concrete in the basement study getting soft and stuff like that, you know, and ain't nobody doing really nothing about it, you know. And this is something that I'm here to talk about because these things need to be done, you know, in the Bell Fountain area, you know, and it's just getting outrageous and it's tiresome, and I don't know what to do else about it because out of 20-some years, I done lost over 5 sets of furniture in my basement, desks and everything, you know, clothing, shoes, everything, you know. Now I'm to a point in 2025 that I have nothing. I lost everything, you know, and the little money that you give me, it's not worth it, you know. I don't want that, you know. I want the problem fixed, you know, and we need help over there. And I know a whole lot of other neighborhoods and stuff, you know, have flood and stuff like that, you know, and it's just getting ridiculous, you know, and I'm getting tired, I'm getting older, you know, and I can't get down there no more, put no more drywall up or scrape the floors or get the flood water out, you know, and it's just getting to be a nuisance, you know, and it's not happening just at my home, you know. My neighbor's home is the same way, you know, and I finally got convinced to put in that outside drain thing, you know. Finally got that, and then as soon as I put that in, guess what? It flooded. It didn't even stop it at all, the water from coming in, you know. And then here, I can't sleep because that's my man cave down in the basement. You know, every time I hear a bloop, bloop, I know it's coming. It's coming, you know. But I just hope that it's something that can be, you know, done about it. You know, it's something that we need to do. It's something that we need to take care of in Bell Fountain area, you know. And I'm not only speaking for myself, I'm speaking for other people's too, you know. And it's just something that has to be done, you know. And I thank you guys for listening to me, you know, and I just hope something to be done about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Couch. Nikki Burton.
Hi, good evening. Apologize in advance for my voice, so hopefully it projects okay. Again, my name is Nikki Burton. Happy New Year. We are also neighbors. I apologize. There's supposed to be a few of us, but of course, people getting back to work and getting back into the grind of the new year, they weren't able to make it. Our older person, Elise Dailies, she was going to try to make it with us, but she said she will try to attend next month's meeting if possible. But the same thing, I've lived in my home for 26 years, almost 27, and we've always had little backups, which were manageable, but as the years have gone by, at least since 2016, is what I calculated, just as far as going back in my profile, that it's been increasing. I know I've talked to your engineers. In fact, I've just recently talked with Ethan Waters. Even as of today, I was in a conversation with him, and this has been years and ongoing. You know that there's an issue, you being as far as MSD, and like Mr. Crouch was saying, the $2,900 is just a drop in the bucket. We just want the problem fixed. There's clearly a lateral issue, and your engineers do know. It seems that when the cast iron pipes were put in 100 years ago, of course, there was no homes there. We stay behind a park. And so the park actually, I think when they did the lines, of course, they figured that it would just run to the park, run to the ravine. Then, of course, they started building the properties. Of course, if you can imagine, that's very impactful because where my home is, and this is according to one of your technicians, that kind of really gave me a great explanation, and I appreciated him for doing so and taking the time to do so, is that the way the lines come, my home is a direct bullseye, which makes sense because I'm right along the bike trail. So they figured it would run, just right there. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. It backs up into the home. The backflow preventers, several of our neighbors do have them. And even speaking with Mr. Waters, he said there are some challenges with it. It's not foolproof. Water does come up, groundwater comes up. So you still are left with the same problem of water in your basement. And as Mr. Crouch alluded to, we are just to the point where we do not know what to do. We have contacted Bell Fountain. We have, talked to your engineering department incessantly of trying to figure out what do we need to do. And it's just coming to the point where now it's becoming a health issue. I have lung issues as a result. I have the documentation and things of that nature to prove it. And it's because the mold has just built up in the home because it's constantly getting wet. And so, again, trying to disband with the drywall and putting up new drywall, it's just becoming very, very costly, if you can imagine, but also laborsome. And now it's impacting not only my health, but I know a couple other neighbors' health as well. Just because you're living with mold, and it's black mold, which is very toxic. And so that is why I am sounding, unfortunately, like I am today, and currently under doctor's care as a result. They have asked me to relocate out of my home while they are doing the excavations. So that is something, I just got that news yesterday. So that is something I am considering of what are my resources and what can I do? How long is it going to take them before they finish what they need to do? Because right now, I don't even want to put anything down there and replace the drywall again because I know I'm going to come into the same thing. And after just doing some research, I know there is a certain composite that you can use as far as the drywall and the flooring that's supposed to be mold resistant, waterproof, and things of that nature. But as you can imagine, it's costly. And I don't mind doing whatever I need to do because it's my home. I've been there almost 27 years, so I will do what I need to do, but I don't want to do all of these things for nothing. I don't want to put any more money into, and my basement is finished. And so, as several of our neighbors are. So if you can imagine where every couple of years you're going constantly down there and you're basically reinventing the wheel. So it's a whole cleanup process. And then you are doing what you need to do, whether it's buying racks or Rubbermaid totes or whatever we need to do, replacing drywall and furniture and clothes and just items. It gets very costly, but it just gets laborsome. And it's just to the point where this last flood, I'm 5'2", and it came just to my torso. That was heartbreaking. That one broke my heart to the point where it's like, what do? You come home from work, and I work a full-time job, 10 hours a day, and then I like to say my part-time job is going down and cleaning my basement. And now we've got this additional thing where we're having to go and do the mold abatement and things of that nature. Because from what I understand, the lateral lines are flat, so it's especially going to my home, and that's what he was speaking of. So it's very easy for the sewage to back up. And I'm imagining that if it's like that for my home, it's like that for my neighbors' homes as well. So that's why we wanted to just come to you all today to ask that if we can employ you to give us any assistance, because we've run out of resources. We don't know what to do, and we are literally coming to you, asking you to help us. I love my home. I love my neighbors. I love my neighborhood. I want to stay in my home. I want to be, productive member of this particular community, because this is where I've raised my kids, and I've got roots here. But I cannot continue to do this. My health won't allow me to continue to do this. So anything you guys could do to be of assistance, it definitely would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Submission of public hearing reports,
There are none.
communications,
No communications.
consent agenda items 10 through 39.
All right, the consent agenda tonight is items 10 through 39, as you mentioned. Is there any board member who would like to pull an item for a separate vote? Hearing none, is there a motion for adoption?
So move.
So moved.
All right, we'll take that as motion and second. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
All right, we'll now move to new business. We'll start with ordinances. The first one is item 40, which is the introduction of ordinance number 16528, authorizing the district to enter into an agreement with Fresh Coast Capital LLC, doing business as Green Partners for cost sharing for green infrastructure construction and the CSO volume reduction green infrastructure Cardinal Glennon project in the city of St. Louis. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Item 41, introduction of ordinance number 16529, appropriating $12 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for wastewater treatment plant construction of the Abyssal Point wastewater treatment facility trickling filter media replacement phase 2 project in the city of St. Louis, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with KCI Construction Company. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Item 42 is the introduction of ordinance number 16530, appropriating $1.15 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for combined sewer construction of the North 13th 714 combined sewer repair project in the city of St. Louis. Excuse me, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Bates Utility Company. Is there a motion for introduction?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Item 43 is the introduction of ordinance number 16531, a supplemental appropriation of $2.5 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for general construction management services and the general services agreement, construction management project at various locations within the district, authorizing the district to amend a contract with KAI 360 Construction Services. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
Item 44 is the introduction of ordinance number 16532, a supplemental appropriation of $25,000 from the sanitary replacement fund and $175,000 from the district-wide stormwater fund to be used for general engineering services and the general services agreement sewer and channel design contract A project at various locations within the district, and authorizing the district to amend a contract with KDG, a division of Shive Hattery. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Watson? I'm sorry, Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
All right, items 45 through 47 are all supplemental appropriations of $85,000 from the stormwater fund to be used for geotechnical services in the general services agreement geotechnical contracts, amending contracts with various firms. And if there are no objections, I will read the three items and we'll take one vote. Hearing no objections, I'll start with item 45, the introduction of ordinance number 16533, a supplemental appropriation of $85,000 from the district-wide stormwater fund to be used for general geotechnical services and general service agreement geotechnical contract A at various locations within the district, authorizing the district to amend a contract with Geotechnology LLC. Item 46 is the introduction of ordinance number 16534, again, supplemental appropriation of $85,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to use for general geotechnical services and general services agreement geotechnical contract B in various locations within the district, authorizing the district to amend a contract with Hanson Professional Services. And item 47, the introduction of ordinance number 16535, also a supplemental appropriation of $85,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for general geotechnical services and the general services agreement geotechnical contract C project at various locations within the district, and authorizing the district to amend a contract with Terracon Consultants. So for items 45 through 47, is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
All right. Similarly, items 48 through 52 are all related. They're all supplemental appropriations of $50,000 from the Sanitary Replacement Fund for general surveying services, asking for authorization to amend contract with various firms. If there are no objections, I'll read those items and we'll take one vote. Hearing no objections, we'll start with item 48, introduction of ordinance number 16536. Again, supplemental appropriation of $50,000 from the Sanitary Replacement Fund to be used for general surveying services in the General Services Agreement Surveying Services Contract A project, various locations within the district, and authorizing the district to amend the contract with Civil Design, Inc. Item 49 is the introduction of ordinance number 16537, a supplemental appropriation of $50,000 from the Sanitary Replacement Fund to be used for general surveying services in the General Services Agreement Survey Services Contract B project at various locations within the district, and authorizing the district to amend a contract with Prairie Engineers. Item 50 is the introduction of ordinance number 16538, a supplemental appropriation of $50,000 from the Sanitary Replacement Fund to be used for general surveying services in the General Services Agreement Survey Services Contract C project at various locations within the district, and authorizing the district to amend a contract with Sabre, Inc. Item 51 is the introduction of ordinance number 16539, a supplemental appropriation of, again, $50,000 from the Sanitary Replacement Fund to be used for general surveying services in the General Services Agreement Survey Services Contract D project at various locations in the district, authorizing the district to amend a contract with Vols Incorporated. And item 52, the introduction of ordinance number 16540, a supplemental appropriation of, again, $50,000 from the Sanitary Replacement Fund to be used for general surveying services in the General Services Agreement Survey Services Contract E project at various locations in the district, authorizing the district to amend a contract with Juno Associates. Is there a motion for introduction for items 48 through 52?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
And then item 53, which is the introduction of ordinance number 16541, authorizing the district to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Kirkwood, whereby Kirkwood will provide customer service data at MSD for the purpose of billing sewer service charges to the MSD customers residing within Kirkwood. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Second.
Aye.
Ms. Kistner?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholasison?
Yes.
All right, and then for the first time that I can remember, we have no resolution, so that means there is no further business.
Motion for adjournment?
One question, real quick. Just, is there anything that staff wants to say about the issue that was just raised by the
Yes,
president?
Trustee Wilson, excuse me, we are well aware of the issues that are going on up there for Mr. Couch and Mrs. Burton. We've been working with them to see what can be done, and we will continue to do so to try to resolve their issues. Some may not be MSD's area of responsibility, but we are looking into it and we're trying to resolve things, and we'll continue to do so.
Can you kind of keep us posted as we go through this? Because somebody's going to be here. It sounds like we're going to have to address this, or we'll hear the same thing next. So.
Yes, absolutely. We'll keep the board up to date.
Thank you.
And could we perhaps get a report at the wrap up at the next meeting that we have, the next morning meeting?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
We'll follow up at the next scheduled committee meetings.
Thank you.
Move adjourned.
Second.
Motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
Everyone have a good evening.